The new Star Wars spin-off has done pretty well on Disney Plus since its first episode. It managed to get a lot of views from just its premiere, so it got us thinking about what goes on behind the scenes of this successful production. And the cast of Obi-Wan Kenobi came through to share some exclusive takes that had us chuckling. First up, bringing back some old characters. Hayden Christensen, who played a young Anakin in the Star Wars canon, made a comeback for the new spin-off. He shared that he was the most excited to share a space with Ewan McGregor, especially after the prequels didn't do so well. He added that the crew for the Disney Plus series was over the moon when they saw both of them on the set together, in costume. Well, who wouldn't be? Imagine seeing one of the oldest actors from the canon back in the new spin-off. We wouldn't know how to act. We've got no idea how the crew managed to keep it together, despite being huge Star Wars fans themselves. Next, Ewan McGregor was hesitant about returning. In a behind-the-scenes interview, McGregor shared that he wasn't sure that if he'd ever get to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again, especially since so much time had passed. Sure, he did pretty okay for himself in Trainspotting, but this is the Star Wars canon we're talking about. Plus, it had been quite some time since he was last a part of the series. He shared that he was nervous because he was pretty young when he played the role of Kenobi, but he'd grown since then. Well, some talent never dies, because McGregor didn't disappoint. Now, for behind the scenes with Ewan McGregor. McGregor also talked about how he got to choose Obi-Wan's lightsaber during pre-production for The Phantom Menace, his joy at portraying a part made famous by Alec Guinness, and how pleased he was to wear the Jedi robes again last year. He shared that the prop master brought up a big chest that was full of lightsabers for him to choose from. Wouldn't you have loved to exchange places with him? A chest full of lightsabers? Count me in! McGregor said that the wonder of Star Wars and the excitement of playing Obi-Wan Kenobi is really quite something. Now, on to the lightsaber fight scenes. Behind the scenes of the intense lightsaber fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, there was just Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor fighting with metal rods. So clearly, most of the Star Wars canon is CGI, like it's sci-fi. What else did we expect? But it's both funny and disappointing to see the bloopers, because they're literally just two men going at it with metal rods. The director Deborah Chow was mainly inspired by westerns and samurai films for reference. Those films always have some of the coolest fight scenes on screen, so we totally get it. The writers of the series really had to focus on drawing out what they could manage from the imagery. A writer shared that the imagery of the series was very impactful, so they insisted on slowing down these scenes so the audience could really take it in. This is actually why the lightsaber is a super important symbol in the show. The camera focuses on the lightsaber at Kenobi's hip at the end of the first episode, and in the second episode, he stares at it fondly. It also shows how hesitant his character is to use his powers again. He only uses the lightsaber when he absolutely has to, and tries his best to avoid using the Force as well. It shows Obi-Wan Kenobi's tenuous relationship with the past of fighting. In this way, visual imagery behind the scenes is actually carefully planned. Next, Hayden Christensen watched Clone Wars and Rebels in preparation for his return. The extremely popular and profitable animated Clone Wars series, set between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, definitely helped the prequels' excellent reception. Christensen brushed up on his character knowledge of Obi-Wan Kenobi by binging both Clone Wars and Rebels, which is actually something we'd do as well. Christensen's return as Anakin Skywalker has been one of the most hyped up news about the new series. Hayden Christensen had to have a Vader expert brought in to teach him about his old character. He even struggled to relearn his voice and initially failed to deliver the right Vader voice. That's why he had to watch all the old movies so he could get back into an old character. And now, Obi-Wan Kenobi is packed with some new tech. The early Star Wars movies did what they could with the green and blue screens, but for this series, there's updated tech. McGregor shared that they've got a huge LCD dome surrounding the space. This kind of stagecraft means that they're constantly surrounded by whatever imagery the creators want to convey. That's definitely way more realistic than a two-dimensional green screen, for sure. Moses Ingram even shared the upgraded lightsabers in the new series, which were a huge step up from the prequels that just used metal blades. The actor who played the Grand Inquisitor shared that they needed to do better for the fight scenes, especially with the new lightsabers. They couldn't have relied on stunt doubles. This time around, the whole acting team underwent some serious training before doing the cool fighting we loved seeing on the screen. Also, the Darth Vader suit actually goes through a serious upgrade before every new Star Wars feature. Ingram shared that most of the costumes were pretty good, but she ran into some trouble when it came to hers, because the costume had been designed with a different hair type in mind. Luckily, the team was more than willing to accommodate Ingram's needs, and they came up with a new costume to go with her hair. So let's discuss the Grand Inquisitor's makeup. Apparently, it takes an army to make a single Grand Inquisitor. Rupert Friend shared that it took almost 3 hours to get him ready. Imagine the number of prosthetics they were probably attaching to his skin. And his armor wasn't light either. It weighed almost 45 pounds. We don't know how he managed to carry that weight around and make it look like it was nothing. He shared that he would sweat a lot, when wearing the armor. Who wouldn't, really? The actor also shared that he didn't watch the animated version of the Grand Inquisitor because he really wanted his own special take on it. That's some serious devotion to character right there. He shared that it feels like being invited to the greatest party that you'd never imagine was really going on. We think he did a great job at capturing the deceiving sneakiness of the Grand Inquisitor. Next up, Moses Ingram actually ran across walls and can't drive. Some of the stunts in the spin-off were legit super cool behind the scenes. Moses Ingram shared that she actually got to jump from wall to wall in one stunt scene, and that it was pretty fun to do. Anyone who has ever seen any action movie would want to do that. Like, come on, how do they make scaling the walls look that easy? She shared that she eventually got comfortable doing a lot of crazy stunts. Also, Ingram can't drive so well, so when it came to driving in the series, she accidentally cut off a motorcycle in front of her. After that, the motorcycle stopped in front of her, and the driver stared at her. This was a pretty funny blooper to watch, especially since Ingram says that a yellow light is just another type of green to her. Of course, we had some dropping of the lightsaber. McGregor shared that in the prequels, Christensen frequently dropped his lightsaber during fight scene filming, and McGregor would make fun of him every time. But this time, it was the Master's turn to slip up, because behind the scenes of Obi-Wan Kenobi, McGregor dropped his lightsaber once too. He asked Moses Ingram to hide it from Christensen out of embarrassment. And now, for a single director. Most TV shows have multiple directors for each episode. However, Deborah Chow was focused on closely controlling the directing of every single episode. Now that's some real dedication right there. If she hadn't done such a great job, we wouldn't have one of the best Star Wars spin-offs today. Even The Mandalorian had different directors working on each episode, but Chow was there for every little moment in the series, which kinda gave her an upper hand. It meant she understood little character development moments better than a detached director group would've. Also, Ewan and Hayden actually had a lot to say in the stories of their characters. This is because they'd been in the canon since the beginning, so the writers considered them to be very experienced. Even if Ewan didn't work directly with the writers, his tips were pretty important to the team, so the script of Obi-Wan Kenobi was more of a collab. In an interview, Chow shared that she specifically wanted character-driven stories because she hadn't gotten that opportunity in The Mandalorian. However, her experience with the show definitely helped her work in Obi-Wan Kenobi, since she was now familiar with the nuances. And that's a wrap for this video. What do you think of the bloopers and BTS clips of the series? Were you surprised to hear some stuff too? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.